Shalom, family. Good to see everyone here. Hope you're all doing well. And I hope you are having a wonderful day. Here it looks like it's about to storm any minute, but we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this whole thing. So, y'all, we're going to talk about how ICE is going on the reservations and detaining people. Now, for a long time, they made us believe these folks that came from the Barren Straits were the original people on the land, but the more you think about it, there's no possible way they came from another country and came over here and got the label native slapped on them. Well, if that's the case, then why don't we slap that on anybody that comes from another land and settle here? I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. And besides, people were already here even when they showed up. So this is just a group that white people and their forefathers and this government handpicked as the natives. But actually, there's no damn way, if you really think about it, they are the natives. It wouldn't make any sense. And then we know we are the original people of the earth. We're the original people on all of these land masses. Remember, this started out as a very melanated planet, and a lot of the groups that you see today did not exist then. Okay, they didn't exist then. And most of the groups that you see on the earth outside of us, especially when they look Mexican and Arab and stuff, these people are all the product of rape, y'all. That's what they are. So, no, these are not original people. It's awfully strange how the people that are definitely not original people want you to believe they are. I find that to be very strange and eerie. It's almost like the Gentiles all want you to think somehow wherever they live, they were the originals first, and they are not. And especially if we see these ambiguous looking groups, there's no way your ass was here first. And you're a mixture of a bunch of different things. That right there should tell you you're not an original person. So we've been playing this game for so long. There are people that really truly think the original natives are being removed from the land, and these people are absolutely not original. Y'all, I was telling y'all when I was a child, I thought the Native Americans were a bunch of Asians. Okay. And everybody kept correcting me. You know who was correcting me? White people. My white teacher. Those were, oh no, those are natives. Those are native. Well, then why do they look Asian? Even the ones that don't have like the Asian looking eyes, they still look Asian to me. It's just like East Indians. They don't quite have the same eyes as Chinese people, but they're still all Asian. And that's how I look at these Indian groups. I'm just telling y'all, there's no way Asians were the original people on this land. But that's what they want us to believe. And they just slap the label native on them. Now, you're seeing that most of them knew all along. In order for Donald Trump to have these people deported, they had to know for quite some time they were lying about who these people are. They're lying about who people are all over this globe, y'all. Even the ones sitting there with our identity. Everybody on this globe is lying about who they are. And you can thank The people that are running things, their forefathers in this government, they're all responsible for it. Every last one of them are responsible for all this mislabeling of people. But you would have to know, in order for Donald Trump to be doing what he's doing, a lot of people would had to know that these natives were not the real natives of the land. A lot of you out here had to know this. And the way it's being revealed is them now getting removed from the land, and they're trying to ship them off to the land they actually came from and really should be referred to as. So let's get into this. Oh, I got another song that I actually dug out that was done quite a while ago, but I will play it for you now. Okay. And I'll get the other video ready while you're listening to this. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. And Randy Moore, thank you so much for becoming a new channel member. Thank you, everybody. All right, here we go.
Psalm 51. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to your loving kindness. This one's for anybody who fell and got back up. It's for the dancers, the weepers, the worshipers, the warriors. Yeah, have mercy on me. I was lost in the night, couldn't find no peace, carrying guilt, trying to find release. But then I read Micah 7:19. You cast my sins into the sea unseen. Your grace don't change, you always forgive. Lamentations 3 says mercies daily live. I'm standing on your word, not my shame. It's your love that broke the chain. Oh, Isaiah 1:18 said I can be clean. Though my sins were scarlet, you washed me pristine. You don't condemn me, you renew me, you bless. Mercy falling on me like a Sunday dress. Yeah, have mercy on me. Turn my pain into praise, set this captive free. Every move I make, every breath I breathe, it's your mercy that covers me. Yeah, have mercy on me. Not by my works, but by your decree. I was blind, now I clearly see. Mercy rewrote my destiny.
I was that brother crying in Luke 18. Y'all be merciful to me, a sinner unclean. I didn't need no spotlight, I needed grace, so I bowed my head and sought your face. Now I dance in the light, no more chains. He erased my past, broke every stain. No karma, no luck, it's his love that saves. And it's written in the word like eternal waves.
Mercy in the morning, mercy every night. Mercy when I'm wrong, mercy when I'm right. You don't throw stones, you lift me high. You remember I'm dust and still you're justified. So you don't treat me like I deserve. Hey, you cover me in love, that's the power of your word. Oh yeah, have mercy on me. When I fall, when I weep, when I bend my knee. Like David said, blot out my sin, and by your spirit I rise again. Oh yeah, have mercy on me. Let the beat of grace set this dancer free. I'll praise you forever faithfully, cause your mercy keeps sounding in me.
As far as the heaven is high above the earth, so great is his mercy toward them that fear him.
Have mercy on me. Oh yeah, have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Yeah, have mercy on me. Have mercy on me.
Okay. I don't know why someone would not have sound. Me, they don't have sound because I always got my cell phone next to me when I'm on my laptop. So when you say I don't have sound, I just go to my cell phone and I heard sound. So I'm listening to it on two different devices and it came through just fine. Maybe some of y'all, when you don't have sound and there is sound, you should go out and then maybe come back in. That's what I would suggest, but I heard sound from my device, both my laptop and my phone. Yeah, maybe if you're listening to it on a cell phone, maybe it's the signal that's not strong around you, I'm just saying as a possibility. Thank you. Thank you. You know, um, the avatar on that didn't come out like I wanted. But, what I will do, I can fix that another time. I will post a song like I did the other ones that I did for you. When we're done with this, I'll post a song, that way you can all have it. So, y'all, let's get to it. Let me share my screen again, and we're gonna listen to some videos, and quite a few of these videos are the people that got labeled as Native American, and they're learning the hard way. I mean, can you imagine believing you're something your whole life? But I think some of these people knew. They knew they weren't. I think some might not know, maybe like the newer generation, but these older ones, I think they all knew. They just thought, they could just always be known as the Native Americans. I mean, look at what's happening over in Israel. They've been saying it for so long. I'm sure the younger generation believe it. All right, let's get started, y'all.
ICE has been conducting raids on Native American reservations and Native American settlements. They were granted those reservations by the United States government when the colonizers took over all of America and took their land from them. If you want proof, you say proof, Google it. Do your own research. Anybody who says proof will be blocked because they're just trolls. You want proof? Google it. Google it. Google it. Anyway, Native Americans are being deported by ICE, Immigration's Customs Enforcement, off reservations and settlements. They were natives. They were here first, before your ancestors, before my ancestors. Their ancestors were here and they made families and they stayed, despite the colonizers. Native Americans are being deported by ICE. What a fucking world we live in. We're the last of the indigenous people that reside in this country are being deported by Trump's freaking regime.
The United States is home to hundreds of Native American tribes, but they now feel that their right to live here is being questioned. We've gained rare access to the Rocky Boy Indian Reservation in Montana, near the US-Canadian border, home to the Chippewa Cree tribe. These young tribal members say that since President Trump came to power, they have suffered more discrimination. Being in
Look at their faces. Y'all tell me those are not Asians. They put Asians up in our face and told us they were the original people of this land. You know how insulting you know how insulting this is? You know what I think they did, y'all? This is my theory on the entire thing. They took these Asians and called them original people of the land, natives, so they would not have to identify us as the original people. That's what I think they did. They wanted it to be anybody but us. But I think that's what happened. So that's my theory of the whole thing. They chose these people over us because they didn't want to admit that it was us in the land first. Our melanated behinds were here first. That's what they didn't want to admit. So they chose these people and slapped our identity on top of them. All right, so let's go on.
Native today in the United States of America, especially as an Indigenous woman, is sometimes scary. Going out alone, you can't do that.
Immigration officials, known as ICE, have been carrying out raids nationwide as part of President Trump's crackdown on irregular immigration. Native Americans say that they too have been questioned by immigration officers, even though they are not immigrants.
So when that came about, our tribal chairman, he also put out a notice for all of the tribal members to carry their IDs, and it wasn't too soon, like after that, there was Border Patrol coming onto our reservation and parking in areas. After that, me and my family, we took precautions, and I even have a passport now too.
Some of my family from down south, from the Navajo Nation, they get like asked a lot by any like law enforcement saying like, do you have like proof that you're from the United States?
Leaders are advising their communities to always carry their tribal identification cards. They are worried that some agents are profiling based on appearance.
They would detain natives, they would detain Hispanic people, and they would probably detain Asian people because they just lump them all together.
Some opposition Democrats have called on ICE and the Department of Homeland Security to stop harassing Native Americans. They say Trump's policy is spreading fear in the communities.
It was still like really scary to leave the res. Honestly, I felt really scared to leave because we don't have as much protection under Native Americans as we do here on the reservation. It's just sad to see that and to be scared to go out into a world that we should call our own.
Despite the uncertainty unleashed by Trump's immigration crackdown, Native American communities say they are determined to protect their rights as U.S. citizens.
Happy Monday, everybody. I guess it's deportation day for everybody.
Okay. So I want to just come in here and say this. The biggest people that they're getting right now from the reservations, they're mainly Navajo and Apache. Those are the two tribes that are being heavily targeted for removal. Okay. That's what they're doing right now. So it is going to be other tribes. It will be. So, and the thing is, y'all, when I was even a child, the few natives that I saw, they all look like a bunch of Asian people. And like I said, the ones that were correcting me on it were white people. And I was like, well, then why do they look Asian? Oh, well, some of them look, no, none of them did. Y'all just brought these people in just to to shift our identity to somebody else. That's all this is about at the end of the day. Why you think about it, why would they need to take out the Navajo and the Apache tribes? Take them out for what? If they were really indigenous to the land. So it is almost like everything we've been taught were lies about who people are on this earth. It's definitely like that. And look at how many times we have been labeled. They done change who we are a multitude of times. And that doesn't make any sense. You only doing that to hide the real identity of those people. All right, let's go on.
Regardless if you're what your status is or if you're a criminal or not. It's so crazy what's happening right now. I think that it is so fucked up, honestly. And all of the immigration things that are happening with ICE going to the Indian schools that are on the Indian reservations and then going into the Indian reservation and then questioning people there because of their skin tone and everything else. But larger concern is a lot of those elders and a lot of those children that they're interacting with, they don't speak English. English isn't their first language. Go to a part 2. Sorry, I forgot to fucking click the.
The Navajo Nation also pushing back tonight against the administration's immigration roundups. The tribe says at least 15 people here in Arizona and New Mexico got questioned in their home or at work, asked to show proof of citizenship. They say they have reached out to Homeland Security and state leaders to get to the bottom of this. The people on the reservation are in fear as many struggle to keep up with their documents. It's unclear if anyone was actually apprehended on tribal land.
With each of our tribes, with the Navajo Nation, for example, we do have a certificate of Indian blood, meaning that we do have identification, knowing that we are members of the Navajo Nation. And right now, it's very uncertain if that is being verified.
They say at least one person was wrongfully detained and released in a raid in Phoenix, some others in Scottsdale. The tribe warning their people to be prepared and to stay vigilant.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know, ICE is detaining tribal citizens, indigenous people. And I'm not just saying for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm saying there's a report that there was one individual being detained up to 8 to 9 hours. This is crazy. Look, I'm speechless. I just want to let you guys know that.
Native Americans who are more American than you and I, for no other reason other than complete and utter bigotry. That's what this is. Let me tell you what's going on. Reports of Navajo people being detained in immigration sweeps sparks concern from tribal leaders. The Department of Justice under Trump argued in court that indigenous people don't have birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. So neither should children of non-citizens born in the U.S. Think about that. They're arguing that Native Americans whose land we stole by raping, pillaging, kidnapping, and murdering, they're not right.
Yeah, but see, this dude, his people are the ones that caused all of these confusions that are going on about people. So the bottom line is, they said DNA tests, those DNA tests that they give to prove Native American heritage are bogus. Okay, they're bogus. And at this point, the documentation that they have as proof of being a native is as good as garbage at this point. Okay, they're not accepting that. These people are going to have to go. Now, I want y'all to also notice another thing. Now, with the Latinos, they said, oh, we're only going to get out of, the criminal element out. We're just going to get the criminal element. Well, with the natives, they're going on the whole reservation and getting people. So those are all criminals too, because that's what y'all put out there. You were just going after criminals. Y'all going after whole reservations of people. They're going after all of them. And see, when he said this dude that is talking, he doesn't know what he's talking about. First of all, they're not written in the Constitution. We are written in the Constitution. You know why? Because they knew we were already the original people. That's why they wrote us into the Constitution. These natives, they're not written into the Constitution. They got their rights like around 1924. They just passed a law, but nothing was physically written into the Constitution about them. That right there should tell you a lot. If these folks were really the people, wouldn't they go in the original document like we did? You know? So what they claim, and I know they're just telling us more fairy tales, is after slavery was over, they wanted to do something because, we were known as property. And what they did was, at a stroke of a pen, they made us human through the 14th Amendment and no longer anyone's property. So that's what the 14th Amendment was about. Plus, we had helped them fight wars. We have helped in a big way in getting this country up and running. So, yeah, so they had to do something. And the Constitution was still being written at that time. There were things still being written into the Constitution. But these Indians, by the time the 1920s came, they weren't writing nothing else in that Constitution like that. And again, wouldn't they have been the first ones written into the Constitution if they were really, truly original people? And, it's not the words, watch the actions of what has taken place. How did we get citizenship over the alleged Native Americans? Wouldn't they have given it to them first if they were so original? That's why I'm saying many of them already know, especially the ones in politics that put the Constitution together. They already knew these weren't original people. That's why they did not offer them nothing. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like the immigrants that came in this land and they got all kinds of money and benefits they really weren't entitled to. Yeah, well, mhm. Absolutely. All the treaties were broke. These people don't keep their word even to this very day, y'all. So I mean, that's not shocking that they broke all the treaties because they don't keep their word today. Right. I do know that. And you know what? My grandmother told me that. You know, on my mom's side, my relatives say, they're Cherokee. On my dad's side, they're Choctaw. So, we know there's no way people that been here all this time and you just in the 1920s just said they're citizens. That's very strange.
Rightful American citizens. As U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement intensifies its effort to apprehend and deport undocumented immigrants throughout the country, we saw massive raids in Chicago, in particular over the weekend, concerns rising among indigenous communities residing in urban areas about reports of indigenous people being detained in the valley. Navajo tribal leaders have received alarming reports that their tribal members are being detained, heightening uncertainties over the implications of these actions have for their communities and the safety of their people. Quote, "We now know that Navajo people and enrolled members of other tribes are being detained in Phoenix and other cities by ICE," Navajo Nation Council Speaker Crystalline Curley said during a committee meeting on Thursday. The reports that we have received indicate that we need to coordinate an operation or some type of response to help our enrolled tribal members here on Navajo Nation. But wait a minute, MAGA. I thought that this was about going after criminals. I thought this was about going after the people bringing in fentanyl. I thought this was about going after the people that murdered Lake and Riley. I thought that this was about going after the bad ones, as Trump said. They're not bringing their best. What does going after Native Americans have to do with keeping America safe? Absolutely nothing. And I don't give a shit if you want to subscribe. If you want to unsubscribe, because I'm not going to feed you exactly what you want to hear, bye-bye. Go back to your safe, comfy right-wing chambers. This is bigotry. This is hatred. And this is literally what fascism is.
We have some big news right now. NBC News has confirmed that as part of Donald Trump's mass deportation raids, ICE agents have snagged American citizens along with Native Americans, and racial profiling fears are growing because of it. According to NBC News, the Navajo Nation office has been flooded with calls from tribal members living off reservation, with many saying that they have been questioned as part of ICE raids. Navajo Nation citizens are American citizens, and the Navajo president.
I just read on one of our tribal Facebook groups that ICE is down here on the Quinault Reservation. If you don't know where the Quinault Reservation is, it's right on the coast, 40 minutes from Aberdeen. And I had to go grab my wallet because when you're tribal, we have tribal identifications. If you don't have one of those, go get one at your enrollment office. And if you don't have that, go get your certificate of Indian blood, just so they know, so that, because it's supposed to have a picture of you on your CID. So go get one. Fuck ICE. You cannot be illegal on stolen land. Get the fuck out of here, ICE. Fucking melt you.
Well, they're getting y'all off the land because they said you really don't have no right to claim being a Native American. You know, that's what Donald Trump is saying. They do not have the right to even claim themselves as Native American. And they came in here from somewhere else. And people were already in the land when they showed up. Mhm. So yeah, I mean, they look, everybody that don't belong here are getting out of here. They're gonna all be moved out of here. And y'all, they are building, and I did a video on a live stream on Alligator Alcatraz that they're building for illegal immigrants. They are anticipating filling that place up with illegals all over this country. And they're putting them in there. Once they go in there, y'all, they're not allowed to come out, at least for a year. And if anybody, the reason why they're putting that facility in the place that they're putting it in is because if anybody tries to escape, they'll be devoured by alligators. The place they're building this thing is infested with alligators. So that's what they're trying to do. So you can't just escape. You know, you won't make it because the waters are filled with alligators. So you'll just get eaten up if you try to get out of there on your own. And look at who they're doing this to, y'all. Look at who they're doing this to. And you know what else I find fascinating? Over the past several weeks, since ICE has been really ramping it up out here, I have seen a multitude of articles saying these folks are being racially profiled. Racially profiled. Oh, this is all about my brown skin and racism. You hear them saying that, right? But I want y'all to notice something. Whenever we talk about race, which is really legitimate, that's one thing we don't lie about. When we talk about it, something done happened. Okay. Now, they're all over social media, all in the online papers and news outlets. Oh, it's racism. Oh, it's racism. You notice nobody is telling them they're playing the race card. You know that's exclusively for us, right? Whenever we talk about racism, oh, you're playing the race card. They've been talking about racism being the reason they're being deported. No, actually, it really isn't racism. It's really you shouldn't be here illegally. You came onto the land, you forced your way on the land and you shouldn't be here. Technically, what's going on with y'all have nothing to do with racism. Things that go on with us have everything to do with racism, but the rest of y'all, it ain't like that for you. You wouldn't even have any problems if you didn't come onto this land. Let's be real. If you would have kept your ass in your home country, you wouldn't be going through the hell that you're going through right now. All right. The Most High is not going to let you stay on land you don't belong on. And he has the final word. Hmm. But yeah, y'all weren't talking all that racism stuff prior to. I never heard a lot of racism talk from you Mexicans and Latinos and Native Americans. Y'all weren't running around here saying all that stuff. But now that this is happening to you, y'all all over the place talking about racism. Unbelievable. All you got to do is go home. So, since you're experiencing racism, as you put it, all you got to do is go home and the racism will be gone. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, they said we talked about race too much. And we need to stop. I remember it was the Latinos that said we fight with white people too much and we need to stop fighting with white people. It was the Latinos that said that. They were the ones that said that. But now those same people are saying they are being racially profiled. Ain't that something? Mhm. Yeah, since you were trying to deny us being well, maybe we should just say the same things to you that you said to us. No, there's no racism because we got work. Isn't that what y'all said? There's no racism. You got jobs. All right, so what's happening to you can't be racism because us melanated folks over here, we got jobs. So ICE grabbing you, that can't be racist. Now we're going to use your logic. We're going to use all of your same logic. Oh, y'all need to stop. Y'all all in the media and all over social media talking about what's happening to you as racism. Y'all talk about race too much. Y'all talk about race too much. Yeah, let's start throwing all that mess back on them that they used to say to us. Oh, it ain't oh, it's not so good now, right? Unbelievable. Mhm. Yeah, no, I don't either. But yeah, they said they're being racially profiled. No, what they're doing is targeting you to get you out of here because you don't belong here. That's not racism. I'm just telling you, that's not racism. What we went through was racism because, see, they wrote laws against us. And even to this very day, they still mass incarcerate us. We had black codes, slave codes, pig codes. We were told we're not human. Nobody told you Mexicans and Latinos and natives that you weren't human. They told us we're 3/5 of a man. See, that's real racism. But just because somebody wants you off the land, I'm sorry, that ain't racism. That's not racism. And that's not civil rights either. Because I hear many of you trying to say your plight is that of civil rights. Actually, it's not a civil rights thing that you're going through. You're strictly going through an immigration crisis. That's it. It's no more to it than that. And y'all tried to pull the biggest scam on this country. Y'all came here and you got money. Some of you got cars because we saw it. I did the stories up in New York. Some of y'all didn't even have a driver's license and you were able to get cars. You got hotel rooms, apartments, some type of shelter, cards, ATM for money. Y'all were flooding over here. See, now y'all talking all that work stuff. "Well, we came to work. We came to work." When before ICE was bearing down on your asses, y'all came on camera, on social media, because I showed some of the videos saying y'all came for the free stuff. Do y'all remember that? They came for the free stuff. In fact, some of the Mexicans talking about this country owe them. This country owe them. Now that you're being snatched out of here, oh, we came to work. We were just trying to work. That's not what y'all were saying before. Y'all were saying you came for the free stuff. You know? So y'all really played the biggest scam on this government. Some of y'all were playing like, I can't go back home, I can't go home. You see, they're not even listening to that. They're not listening to you. But now everybody, they want to do two things. They want to let you know they came here to work when many of them said they came for the free stuff. And they want to unite. They're still all over videos trying to get us to unite with them. And in fact, today I heard some Arab woman on a video over there on TikTok saying that the Arabs and the black people need to come together. Isn't it amazing how we're supposed to be nothing, nobody? We're lazy. We need to pull ourselves up out of bootstrap, but we are the one group everybody wants to unite with. Everybody wants to unite with this one group of people that's supposed to be one big old nothing. I just find that amazing. We are nothing. We're nobody. We're the N word. That's what we are. But everybody is on. I never heard so many foreigners on videos talking about uniting in my entire life. That's all. That seemed to be the only subject matter y'all want to talk about these days. Uniting, uniting, uniting. That's the only thing that comes out of your mouth. And some of y'all have been here for 2 and 3 decades and still can't even speak English. I mean, you even heard it on this video. They were saying a lot of the people on the reservations can't even speak English. So, how much do you really want to stay in the country and you didn't even learn the ways of the country? It's almost like you're trying to hang on to your native land and at the same time stay here. And didn't they let these Native American tribes have their own police departments? They weren't subjected to the police departments of this government, they actually had their own separate police departments on these reservations? Didn't they actually have that? See, y'all got to do things that we could not do. We couldn't have our own police departments watching over us because our oppressor, they don't want us pushing them out the way to do the job they do, right? But yeah, every group, some Arab woman was on a video talking about they want to reunite with black people. I said, boy, we are just everybody's scapegoat. No, take your butt back over there to the Middle East. You don't need to unite with us. You need to take the next flight out and fly your butt right back over to the Middle East. And you Arabs, y'all ain't fooling nobody. You motherfuckers come from caves, just like these folks over here. Y'all come from caves. Y'all were living in them caves over there's caves all over the middle. Live in those caves. You don't believe it? Look it up. There are caves all over the Middle East. They came out of them damn caves. These light-skinned Arabs came out of them caves that are over there. They came out of them caves. They're cave dwellers too. But now all of them act like they're way better than us. And they're so not. Hmm. I mean, even to this day, I was listening to the Mexicans talk, and they were like, well, yeah, we got Spanish blood, and we got this, and we got that. And you know what the funny part? She said everything except for black. That's what they don't want to acknowledge. They don't want to acknowledge that that's in their blood. No, just Spanish, European Spanish, and the native, you know. They left completely left out the black blood they also have, and they know they have that. That's why many of them got some black grandma or grandfather stashed away somewhere. They said damn near all of them had some type of grandparent that was dark skinned. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm dead serious. Y'all start looking up the caves around the Middle East. There's lots of them. Lots of them. That's where their asses came out of. They came out of them damn caves over there. Hmm. But I tell you, the Most High must have put a serious spirit on our people because I have not. It's probably been a handful that I heard say, "Oh yeah, we need to go out and help," and I was like, "Well, you carry your butt out there and help. You go right on out there and help since that's your idea. You go do it." But no, you don't get to tell the rest of us to go out there and help. You can go out there and help all by yourself. You don't need the rest of us. So, but for the most part, the vast majority are saying, no, we are not going out there for nobody. We're not going out there for anyone. It doesn't matter what group you come from and what your situation is. We are not going out there. We're not going out there. And y'all crying awfully hard. You know, that's another thing. See, when before all this happened, y'all act like your countries were the greatest thing on earth. The country you came from was so great. Y'all were all talking like that. Oh, I come from that. Oh, our country is this. Our country is that. Yeah, but now that ICE is grabbing you and taking you out, the men, the women, the children, all of y'all are crying a river now. that you have to go. All of you are crying and crying and crying, but I thought your home country was so great. I thought it was so great over there. Yeah, well, you heard what they said. I think July 28th, 28 states, 28 states are going to take everything from these people. So they, could a lot of these people, once that alligator Alcatraz gets built, a lot of them are going to get stuffed up in there. But you are not going to have any rights at all. That means you will not be able to have a job. Your children will not be eligible to go to school. You will not be eligible to have any residency in the country. Okay? You ain't going to be able to do nothing but stand in the land and breathe until they run you out of here. See, that's how they're going to discourage you from coming back. Because if they strip everything away and say you're not eligible to do anything in this land, you ain't going to climb over that fence and come back. You're not. Y'all come now because somebody like Gavin Newsom is going to help you get a house and all that stuff. See, as long as you were getting those type of perks, you were just flooding in here. But see, Donald Trump is saying you can't own a home here. You can't have a job here. You can't come here and try to get medical treatment. You cannot come here and put your children in school. You can't get a driver's license. You can't do nothing. That's what he is saying. So once you are stripped, there is no coming back and getting anything from this land. You will not be able to enjoy it no more. Mhm. Well, they said a lot of the uh Black Caribbeans and Africans, they're now trying to act like they're us so they don't get deported out of here. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to be us. Say they are born and raised here in the US. They're trying to play they never came from their native land in order to stay here. That's what they're trying to do. So they're trying to cosplay. That's what they're doing, cosplaying as us, lying to ICE so they can stay here. Mhm. Yeah. I don't see how that can work because some of them got very thick accents, and I don't care what they do. All you got to do is keep them talking long enough and you'll hear that accent, but many, especially Africans, have a very thick pronounced accent. So I don't know how they're going to go about hiding that. I don't know. Mhm. Yeah, that Hamite accent. And you can't hide that. I don't care what you do, you can't hide that. And plus, they look different from us, y'all. If you look at them and look at us, Ham looks totally different from us. They don't look like us at all. I look at them, even their face are shaped differently. Their eyes are even shaped differently, and you can see a lot of distinctions in their faces. And that is not us. Mhm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of them, mm-mm. Now, my neighbors, like I told y'all, they're Haitian. And Their accent, and I think because they've been over here as children, their accent is very light. It's still there. You can still hear it, but it's not as heavy as I've heard on other people. I've heard Haitians that have very heavy accents, but I think because they've already been here more than a generation, they got little hints of it when you hear them speak, but it's not a heavy accent. Mhm. Yeah. But see, the rest of them, Mexicans cannot cosplay as us, neither can Cubans, only the Afro-Cubans and the Afro-Mexicans, but those are not the ones that are here. Those are not the ones that are here. But, there are some here, y'all, but it's a small, small amount of them here. Yeah, we can get rid of Vivek, can't we? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah, I'm for that. We can get rid of Vivek? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we can get rid of, Nimrata, Nikki Haley, "No, America no, America's not racist. No, America's not we can get rid of her now?" Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, the government's gonna have to work out the ones they offered armed service, if they join the military, they would get citizenship, right? And they gotta work that out with the government now. That's why I said the government is the one that's confusing people. Well, technically, Donald Trump's wife too, but we know he ain't gonna let her get taken out of here. But technically, Melania, she wasn't born in this land. She was born over in Slovenia. So if we're going by what Donald Trump said, he would deport her ass out of here too. She should get deported out here. She ain't being no first lady. What is she doing that she ain't even trying to be no first lady? You don't even hear about no engagements that she's going to or her hosting dinners at the White House like Michelle Obama and the other first ladies, they would be hosting all kinds of things at the White. Melania don't do nothing. And I heard most of the time she ain't even up at the White House at all. She's down there in Florida. Mhm. Even Donald Trump's first wife, well, she's dead now. She would, if she was alive, she would have to get her ass the hell up on out of here. Hmm. Yeah, no, no more anchor babies. Yep. That was one thing Donald Trump addressed in his speech. It's not right. You number one, you're not supposed to be here. And many of them came just to drop a baby. Some of them come across the border already pregnant. And that's what they do. They come here already pregnant just to drop the baby and then say, okay, my baby's a citizen. They don't do that nowhere else in the world. You can't just have a baby and your baby is a citizen there. It doesn't work that way anywhere other than here. Yeah, I heard about Melania has an Einstein visa, and I also heard that's being investigated because they're now saying that was given to her and she wasn't even eligible to get that Einstein visa. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but they are saying that that is now being investigated on how she got that Einstein visa. Yes, they call it an Einstein visa. Yeah. So that's what she got. when she hooked up with Donald Trump. So I guess he was just trying to ensure that she would never have to get deported out of here. Mhm. Well, she definitely had a lot of work done on her face because when you look at what she looked like originally and what she looked like now, it's like looking at two different people. Mhm. Yeah, well, interesting. At the end of the day, y'all, we're going to be the only people really eligible to be here. Technically, we're going to be the only ones eligible to be here. Mhm. I had a friend and he's kind of, he's got a good business and he was able to become wealthy. He had a limousine business. And one year he went to the Kentucky Derby and he went on Derby Day, where everybody, all the rich people go and everybody got on the crazy hats and everything. He said it must have been 20, it must have been like around 2015. He went to the Kentucky Derby, right? He said he ain't never seen so many fake butts on white women in his life. He said when he was there, he said almost damn near all of them had a fake ass. And he was just blown away at how many of them got that Brazilian butt lift. He said so many of them had. He said it was so many fake butts all over the place. He couldn't believe it. I believe it. I ain't seen him in years. Mhm. Yeah, he said it was a lot of them white women walking around with them fake asses. And he said he couldn't believe how many it was. He said it was so many. Yeah, see, those are rich women. They got money. So yeah, they can run around and do stuff like that. They got the money to do it. Mhm. Wow. Yeah, well, it's about to get interesting in here, y'all. It is about to get and this is going to be a very interesting summer because ICE is going to go, Donald Trump is going to have ICE out here going buck wild. You think it's bad now? He is trying to increase the number of ICE and agents out here. So you know what that's going to lead to. They're going to be practically jumping people out in these streets and dragging them off. Oh, it's gonna be on this summer, y'all. You just keep your eye on everything. It's gonna be on this summer in America. Yeah, and they're gonna get thousands more because Donald Trump is gonna do this sweep nationwide. Oh, yes. Mm-mm-mm. Wow, 1,610 people here. Yeah, all you gotta do is put a title on there saying Native American, y'all ain't what you say you are. And now, y'all, they said ICE is showing up on those reservations on a regular basis now. So they got something in the works. I think they're going to eventually do a huge sweep off of those reservations. It's going to be huge. So you just keep your eye on everything and y'all, please have a nice day. I will try to come back and do some. It's just been very difficult because I'm trying to balance doing this and doing the orders and everything. So I got to keep up. Y'all paid for products and you're going to get your products. So I'm going to do a 35% off sale on the 4th and the 5th. I'm going to do 2 days. So if you need to stock up on the hair growth products, I'll have plenty available. So I'm going to be doing the botana oil because I know some of y'all been waiting for that to come back. I'm going to be doing that. And I'm going to also be putting the butter, get that back listed. Now that the heat wave have broken, I'm going to get that listed again. So I will see you later. I will see you later. So let me just say my thank yous to everybody. So I see some of you. Cosmic Dreams, Pageant Booty. Oh, oh, that's a good name for it. That's a good name. Thank you for your super chat. One of many ancestral reflections. The very bridges they burned, they can't rebuild. Yeah, I mean, look, the damage is so done in what they have done to us. They really can't come and ask for nothing now. They can't. They have burnt the bridge completely down when it comes down to our people. There's nothing to come and ask for. I'm sorry. Unknown opinionoid, thank you for the super chat. Trump's agenda is a play out rush lung bad playbook. Yeah, I tell you what, Donald Trump ain't playing. Now that he got the nod from the Supreme Court, he ain't going to hold back. He ain't going to hold back. They think they're crying now. They ain't seen nothing yet. Jeffrey Massey, thank you so much for the super sticker. OA Judah, thank you for the super chat. Remember that Latino that kept saying to the black man, no more money for you because he was getting benefits? Yeah, I wonder if they deported him. We ain't seen him back in the media ever again. I wonder if he got deported. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. Can't hold on. All right, here we go. AO Judah, thank you again for the super chat. She said you can't be illegal on stolen land, but doesn't that mean everyone that came here without consent of the original inhabitants, us, makes them illegal by default? Yeah. Technically, white people should be walking around with green cards. They should have had green cards the entire time because their entry on the land was not legal. And see, you know what they always try to tell you? Well, they didn't have laws back then. Yeah, but you were still not a natural born person to this land, regardless to that. So peeps how people trying to blend, be black so they can stay. Yes, I kid you not. The Caribbeans, and it's a lot of Africans trying to do it. They are trying to act like they're us. They're trying to act like they are born and raised here in America like we were. And like I said, many of them, I can tell their accents a mile away. I don't know how they're going to hide that accent. Okay. Loveline Turner, thank you for the super chat. Shalom, Lisa, to everyone. Keep it coming. All right. And Randy Moore, thank you for becoming a new channel member. All right, y'all. So on that note, I'm going to conclude. Please enjoy your day and shalom, my family.